Getting dressed, sorry.
That's all right.
Still getting changed.
We can cope with that, can't we? We can cope with that. I'll keep, because sometimes there's a couple that come in late. Now, as I said to the others, had a total mind block and I got my weeks mixed up. We're actually load-bearing and balance today. With nothing what I said on Facebook, so ignore me. Yeah, having a moment this week, I think. But it's a nice class. We'll take it slowly. There's some new things in there. I'll give everybody regressions. And please shout out if you're struggling. Which Emma did last week, only because she got a rotator cuff issue. I'd rather you ask me than struggle through. So it should never hurt. You should challenge yourself, but I don't want anybody to feel pain when they're doing Pilates. That's not what it's about. So listen to your bodies. Okay, so I know it's a lovely day, but let's just get ourselves in the room with a little bit of a silly warm-up to start with before we even do our breaths. So I don't want running on the spot. I don't want anything that's going to annoy your joints. So we're just going to walk really quickly on the spot, just to get us in the room, get us in the mood. So literally little tiny walks here. And it's just going to warm up your body, get your heart rate going, nice quick movements. But try not to run. What I don't want to do is you know, that bouncing on the joints. Okay, so it's just in. Right, okay, now slow it down and lift the knees a bit higher. So a nice bit of this is like an old PE warm-up. That's what it reminded me of. Cool. And then small movements again, little small movements, tiny steps, little quick walks. Just get you going this, and then slow it down again and raise those knees up. If you've been busy with school runs or whatever, we're just trying to forget all of that stuff, the ironing or whatever we've got to do or work. Okay, last one, really quick. Well, there's bits on me wobbling that shouldn't be. And release. Fantastic. Okay, let's just remind ourselves of the Pilates breath that we use to recruit the right muscles. So hopefully warmed up a little bit. If you need to, put your hands on the side of your rib cage. Okay, relax those abdominal muscles. Not something we do very often, just relax them. You've got your feet hip distance apart, second and third toe facing forward. Soften the knees, so never lock the knees out, just soften those knees. You've got that neutral spine, so just tip it backwards and forwards. Find that middle ground and really grow your spine out of that, so standing nice and tall. Okay, so breathing in through the nose, relax through the tummy, push this rib cage out, and you should feel that tummy expand. And as you breathe out, feel the tummy naturally retract. Let's do that again. Breath in, breathing in through the nose. Feel that tummy expand as the abdominals relax, and breathe out. And we feel it naturally retract. This time we're going to, as we exhale, draw up through the pelvic floor and just remind ourselves where those core muscles are. So deep breath in, breathing in through the nose, push the air to the bottom of the rib cage, relax through the abdominal muscles so you feel that tummy expand. And this time as you breathe out, naturally feel it retract, and now start to raise up through the pelvic floor. So as if you're holding a weight, don't snatch it, very gently. And you should feel those core muscles engaged. Now, if your core is weak, it might take you a while to do this. And relax. Let's do that once more. So breathing in, try and push these rib cage out to the side. And as you exhale, draw up through the pelvic floor. Now hold that core on and carry on breathing. So what you're going to do is breathe by expanding the rib cage to the back and the side. So keeping this core on. Takes a bit of practice. What I don't want you to do ever is to hold your breath when we're doing anything. And relax. Brilliant. Well done. Okay, right. So what we're going to do now is grab your balls. It's always a good distraction with your balls. If you haven't got a ball, don't worry, not the end of the world. So what
is that okay?
That's a good one. I've got one lady that's got a stuffed toy that's yeah, it just looks like an animal blown up. It's awful. Right, ball to your chest, and all we're going to do, so this time we're going to go from one side to the other. As I say, we're about balance and load bearing, so we're just going to shift our weight from one side to the other. So once you're happy with that, start to stretch up. This is like old school, this, isn't it? But Joseph Pilates has been around a very long time. When I was a gymnast, lots of the things that I teach now we did as gymnasts, and I'm going back nearly 50 years. Okay, so what you're doing, your core is being activated because you need it to balance. Always nice slow movements. Slow is stronger. Okay, so if you want to, you can raise that leg a little bit higher. Soften that supporting knee, so don't lock that knee out. So you're warming up through the obliques, feel it through your hips and through your shoulders. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Okay, keep the ball in your hand. Extend the ball up to the ceiling, growing nice and tall. Now, just watch here that you're not arching out through your back or tucking it forward. Make sure you've got that nice and neutral pelvis. Always looking for good alignment. And then we're going to come over to the side, back to the center, up and over to the other side. Okay, so open out through that chest so it's not here. Again, up and over. Grow nice and tall. Reach away with that ball. And back to the center. Okay, this time come over to the side and then roll it forwards. So curve through the top half of your back to the other side and standing nice and tall. And back the way you came. So over, curl forwards, curl through the top of the shoulders. Rotate and up. So we're mobilizing through the top half of the back. We're using that shoulder girdle. And always stand nice and tall, get the alignment correct. One more, back the way you came, curl through, and up, and release. Okay, take those feet wider than hip distance apart. Nobody's hips are this big. Turn your feet out at 10 to 2, and we're going to come into a wide squat. Make sure those knees are tracking over those feet. So what I don't want is the knees to come in forward. They're going to push out to the side, so we're opening out through the hips. So we'll do it without arms to start with. So just keep the ball to your chest, nice and tall, so it's not a dip forward, and it literally is a lower and push back up. So push through those heels, push those knees out to the side. Just be careful, you've got this nice neutral spine. If you've done ballet or dance, you'll be very used to in this plie position, tucking your tailbone under. Try not to do that, try and keep it in neutral. Okay, on the next one, we're going to raise the ball up as we go down, really reach. So you're opening out through the chest, opening out through the shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
If you can't do that, always keep the ball here. So always regress. If that's too much, or don't take them up so far. I just heard a little bit of a moan then, so just worried that somebody's injured. Just go as far as you're able. Okay, the next one, go down and hold it there and raise those heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, shake those legs out. Let's warm those up a little bit. Right, as I said, we're doing load-bearing and balance. Put your ball onto the floor between your feet. I find putting my hands on the hips works with this one. What I'm looking for is level hips, so you're not hip itching. We're going to pull the ball up to your calf with your foot and get your balance before we move on. Now check those hips. You're not like this, nice and level. So then we're going to open out through this hip and back. If you need to hold on to something, do. If it's too much for you, just stand here and balance. That's great. Everybody's different on this. So very simple. Don't take the moves quite so far out. So just do a really small movement. So you're taking it off center. Go as far as you're able. 3, 2, and 1, and release onto the other side. So pulling that ball up, check that these hips are level, nice neutral spine, grow nice and tall, and when you're ready, opening out through that knee. So we're working into the hip. We're obviously using our core as well for balance. Don't forget to breathe. So this is where you've got your core switched on, but you're still breathing. So you're expanding your lungs by taking out your rib cage through the back and the sides. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. We've got some good balances in this class. Grab that ball again. Now, we're going to go into balancing on one leg, but taking our weight forward. So ball in your hand, soften that front leg, point the other one behind, and raise the arms up. So what we're going to do is into a ballet arabesque, but really we're just going to take our weight forward and raise that leg. And it could be that this is far enough for you, but if not, you can keep going as far as you can. Don't lock that foot out. Spot something in the middle distance. Keep your eyes on that. And back up. So 5 on each leg. Grow nice and tall before you start. Soften that supporting leg. Keep those hips level towards the floor so you're not twisting. And just go as far as you are able. If you need to stop at any time, shake your leg out, start again, set yourselves up. Do that. So you're working into the glutes, using the core.
Oops.
Lots of coordination and concentration, which is a big part of Pilates, which is why it's a good de-stressor. So when you've done 5 or enough for you on one leg, change legs, set yourselves up, hips facing forward. I've got my foot slightly turned out, hips forward, soften the knee, reach nice and tall with the ball. If you're struggling with the ball above your head, you can bring the ball to your chest and do the same thing. If you've got any shoulder injuries and it's a little bit too much for you, but always challenge yourself and try something a little bit harder every time we do some exercise.
Oops.
Okay, I'm on the last 2 for me. And then when you're done, and release. Okay, keep that ball close to you. We're going to use it when we're down on the mat. Now, right, try. Now, if you've got a wall by you, you might need to use it for this one, depending on your balance. If you've got knee problems, don't do it until I've shown you and I'll give you a regression. So what we're looking to do is cross your legs in front of you. So not like this, just literally slightly crossed. We're going to raise up onto our toes. Yeah, you come to a ballet lesson this morning. Okay. And then take your arms across your chest. And we're going to squat all the way down to the floor. So what you need to do is push your knees out to the side. Now, if you've got knee problems, just wait. And we're trying to do this. I'm not the best at this, actually. All the way down, if you can, or go as far as you can. If you need to hold on to something, do that. And then push your way up. Now, if you've got knee problems and you know that's going to be difficult, just do a curtsies. So just change sides and do curtsies. So that's like stepping behind and curtsy. Now, for everybody else, if you can do that and then come all the way back up, change legs, start again. So we're starting up, reaching nice and tall. We've got a neutral spine, spot something in the distance. Then as you're coming down, cross the arms, and then all the way down into that squat, pushing those knees out to the side. Try and keep that back upright so you're not dipping forward. And if you need to hold on to something, do. Not going to do, we're literally going to do one on each side and then we're going to come all the way down. Okay, change to the original side again. Last one, reach all the way up. And as you're coming down, bring your arms across your chest and then all the way down. Now, if you're curtsying, and stay down and come onto your hands and knees. If you're curtsying, literally just come down like this and then onto your hands and your knees. Well done. There weren't too many screams on that one. I didn't see anybody else across the group with that one. I've got some clients that go all the way down, sit down and get back up, but no, I can't. I really do not let me do that. Okay, on to all fours. Now, as with everything we do, let's check alignment. So just as a reminder, your shoulder over your wrists, hips over your knees, knees are hip distance apart and hands are shoulder width apart. Now, I find lots of people, including myself, struggle with wrists So we're just going to do some little bit of wrist work here, and we're going to do a hinge forward. So you're going to take your weight forward, nice and long through the neck, over the wrists. Don't do anything sharp, and then take your weight back, come off. So you're actually warming up a little bit through the hips, but we're working through the wrists. So if you've got, you know, I'm in my 50s, so, you know, to fight off osteoporosis, anything like that, we've really got to get load bearing. So this is why we're working here. And I'm finding lots of ladies got amazing core, put them on the wrists and they're all struggling a little bit. So 2 more here. So it's a good flexibility exercise. It's also a strengthener. The last one, nice and long through those necks. And release. Okay, stay where you are, but if I just show you, now turn the hands out to the side, and we're going to take it from side to side. So you're taking your weight into one wrist and to the other one. So we're just changing the angle. Nothing jerky, slow and flowing, protecting those joints. Okay, right now, turn, if you can, turn the fingers towards your knees. Very gentle here, and just gently take your weight back so you feel a stretch through those wrists. As with everything, don't force it. Challenge, but don't force. Okay, couple more here. Gives them a really good stretch. And then just sit back onto your heels and give those wrists a little bit of a circle. Just release them off.
Oh,
yeah, that's the word. That's how I feel already. Okay, lovely. Right, now we are going to go load bearing, and we're going to start with a warm up to a plank. But actually, I think it's much better than a plank, and some of you might have done this with me before. So if I start in plank position, if you can't do plank, you can come, I'll give you some alternatives. You can come into 3/4 plank with this. But what we're trying to do, get into that plank, nice and long through the neck, hips level. And as you drop the knee, you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you come back to plank. So you alternate this. Breath in when your knee's down. And as you breathe out and engage the core up to plank. So we're looking for 10 of these, 10 drops into the knee and back up. If you're struggling with this, what can you do? You can literally just come onto all fours, extend a leg behind, and then change legs. What I'm looking for if you're doing this is pushing through your supporting arms, keeping those hips level and nice and long through the neck. So getting the alignment correct is brilliant. It's working all the right muscles. Now, then the progression is up to plank and dropping an alternate knee. It looks easy, it's not. 4, 3, 2, 1. And both knees down. Fantastic. Okay, just come into child's pose. Now that's taught as a regression to the plank, but actually I think it's harder. Now put your feet together, knees apart, hands forward into your child's pose. If you've got a knee problem, keep your bottom in the air. If not, take your weight back towards your heels and feel that stretch. Now, you've got that with your feet together. Now stay in this position. Now open your feet as wide as your hips and do the same stretch. Feel the difference. Very different stretch. And then feet back together and into that child's pose again. And release. Okay, right. So we're coming back to plank. We're not staying in this position for long. I'd rather keep moving through plank as opposed to a static plank. If I just demonstrate what we're going to do. So come into nice plank and then raise up into a down dog. So we're going to do a couple of these to warm up, and then we've got an add-on. So if you've got any problems with your wrists here, you can do the same thing on your forearms. So into that plank, raise the hips up, push the heels back towards the mat, push through those hands and take your gaze towards your knees. So you're getting a good hamstring stretch as well. Switch that core on, slowly in control, come back to that plank position, nice and long through the neck. Raise up again.
Heels towards the mat. Slowly and controlled, taking your weight forward into your hands, into that nice plank. Okay, this time, raise up to down dog. Hold it there. And when we talk about balance, what I want you to do is raise one foot off the floor, one leg. So you're all going to do it at different levels. What I'm aiming for is for you to get it as high as you can without arching through the back. And slowly lower. Keep those hips forward and level. Change sides. Lower. And then come back to that plank position. Remember to be nice and long through the neck in plank. And then when you're ready, go again. So work to your level. If that's too much, just carry on with the down dog into plank. But if you're able, you can raise. So you use your core, you've got hip stability, you've got shoulder stability. Back to down dog, into plank. Okay, one more. So raising up, pushing back to down dog. Raise alternate legs. Take some concentration. Back to down dog. Nice, slowly and controlled into that plank. And then slowly lower those knees down and come up onto your knees. Well done. I couldn't watch you undo that, so I hope everybody was okay. Lovely. Right, let's have a little bit of a stretch. So come onto your knees, open out through those hips, take a leg to the side. So I'm looking for your hip over your knee. Open out here, open out through the chest. Flex that top foot. So my knees facing the ceiling, my toes facing the ceiling. You want to put your hand on this hip here, and you're just going to rotate. Not through the knee, through the hip. Okay, a couple more of these. And release. Okay, point that toe, knee towards the ceiling. Raise those arms towards the side of your head. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, rotate towards that straight leg. Breath in as you come back to the front. Breathe out. Rotate. You shouldn't go very far this side unless you're super supple. And release. Okay, slowly put your hands forward. Now take your weight back towards your heel. So you get a stretch in this inner thigh. Drop your head down. And release. Come back up to your knees and change sides. So extend one leg to the side. Flex that foot, knee towards the ceiling. If you want to put your hand at the top of this hip, just check you're not rotating from the knee because that will hurt. And then just rolling this hip forwards and back. Nice neutral spine, nice tall spine. 2 more. And release. Okay, point that toe, knee towards the ceiling, float those arms up to the side, and then we're just going to rotate towards the straight leg. Back to the center, rotate the other side. Back to the center. Yeah, it's not always easy. Hands forward. Weight onto your hands, and then take your weight back towards your heels. So you should feel a really good inner thigh stretch. Drop that head down. And slowly release and come up to your knees. Right, we are going to use the ball in a moment if you need to, but don't worry about that. So, different regressions and progressions here for everybody. Onto your knees, say open out through the front of the hips. Take that leg to the side again, and we're going to take our arms out to the side. So what I'm looking for you to do is we're going to lower down to the mat. So everybody's going to be at different level. You can keep your foot on the mat, and we're just going to slowly lower and up. If you really are good at your balance, you can raise that leg up and slowly lower.
Whatever you do, don't fall onto your wrist, or if you're worried about that, just put a cushion there. Be very careful. So switch this core on, use the breath. So breath in, breathe out, switch the core on, and then lower down and raise back up. They're all looking good. If you're an absolute beginner, you can literally do it on 2 knees and just take it to the side, or hands behind your head. Find a challenge for you. When you've done 5 on one side, so you really should feel that core kicking in and the obliques down the side. When you're ready, change sides. It's another simple move that looks easy, but actually takes a lot. Set yourselves up before you start. You've got that neutral spine, nice and tall through the spine, nice and long through the neck, and then lower and back up. So if you want to, you can raise that top leg. A bit wobbly this morning. Everything should be slow and controlled. Slow makes you stronger. I've got 2 more. And the last one. And release. Okay, back to the original side. If you've got a ball, grab your ball. If you haven't, don't worry, you can do it on the floor. If you are a beginner, do it without the ball. So we're coming into that same position, so extending the leg out. I'm going to use the ball just for demonstration. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrist here. Open out through those hips, up and over. So you've got a good stretch, neutral spine. And I'm going to come into crunchy. So raise that top foot and crunch in and away. In and away. 5 on each side. It's nice and slow. That's why I'm not doing too many repetitions. I'd rather you take them really slow. If you're struggling on the board, you can do it on the floor. If you're a real beginner, you can lie on the floor and do exactly the same move by extending that underneath arm away. Lost count. If in doubt, 2 more. Really reach away with that arm and leg, and when you're ready, up and over to the other side. Do the same on the second side that you did the first side, otherwise you'll be very lopsided. Check your alignment, shoulder over, wrist open out, up and over, stretch to start. Raise that top foot, switch that core on, so you should be open like as if you're between 2 panes of glass, and when you're ready, crunch in, reach away. Really reach away as far as you can. And the last one. And back up to your knees and release. Oh, well done, everybody. Okay. Coming off our wrists, you'll be pleased to know, onto your bottom, onto your sitting bones. Put the ball behind your back. And don't worry if you haven't got one, you can do this move without a ball. So, onto the sitting bones, the bony part of your bottom. Stack your spine above that. What we're going to do, float the arms forward. We're going to do a bit of a stretch. Imagine you've got a big beach ball here and you're reaching forward. So what I don't want is a curl here. It's an up and over and then back. And then we're going to go straight into a curl back and raise the arms. Now, if you're a beginner, you might want to bend your knees and then rolling forward and reaching forward again. So more experience, extend those legs, try and get a nice flowing movement. So you're reaching forwards, back to the sitting bones, C-curl the spine, curling through the spine, keep a gap between the chin and the chest, roll back, keeping those hips level, raise those arms above your head as far as you can without wobbling off the ball, bring them forwards, nice and slowly up to sitting, and then reach forward so you're getting a good hamstring stretch and good mobility through the hips, back to sitting and go again. Nice and tall through this neck, roll back,
hips level. My ball keeps moving. Arms above the head. If you can, if that's too much, keep the arms forward, up to sitting, and again. So getting a good stretch, mobility, and then straight into strength and move. Raise those arms, slowly lower them. As you come forward, reach forward, up and over, back to sitting. C curl off that spine. Raise those arms above your head. Forward. Last one. Reach up and over. C curl back. Keep that gap between the chin and the chest. Raise the arms. Float them forwards and just come up to sitting. Right, back to those sitting bones. Oh, well done. They look really good. Okay. Ball to the side for the moment. We are going to use it again. We're just going to work through these arms a little bit, this load bearing in a different direction. So hands behind your back, toes towards your bottom. And you can bend your knees up if you want or keep them straight. We're just going to do some simple reverse press ups. So nothing dynamic this morning, but they still work. Now, just check your posture. So we're not sitting on the beach. Raise that chest forward, nice and long through the neck. And you're taking your elbows back towards the mat and up. So we're going to do 10 of these, slowly and controlled. So if you want to, you can bend your knees, keeping those hips level. Connect with your body and check what's happening. Are you favouring one side? Do you feel like your shoulders are uneven when you're doing this? Are you pushing through one arm more than the other? Make sure when you come back to sitting, you're not sinking through that chest. Raise that chest up. Three more. Okay, last one. And release. Okay, shake those arms off a little bit. So just onto your, still seated, into that Z or mermaid seat. No, ignore me. I am sorry. I'll do it this way, We've got some beginners. Okay, take your hands behind you, take your feet hip distance apart, still not sinking through that chest. And to start with here, just drop 2 knees to one side and then to the other side. So let's just get that moving to start with. So it's easier to do it this way. Okay, so nice warm up. So if you're a beginner, this is where you stay. If you're more experienced or a little bit more flexible, come up onto your sitting bones, arms to the side and do the same thing. So we're looking for really good posture to be able to do that. So arms out to the side, but not using your hands. Okay, they're all going well. Right, so you carry on doing that, but watch me at the corner of your eye. So the same thing when you come into the side. You're going to raise up, hips forward, down to the other side, raise up, hips forward. Now if you need to use your hands, you can, but try and do it without your hands. So good balance, great mobility and flexibility. If you've got knee issues, just stick with the original exercise. They look a little bit awkward, but they are working so many muscles here. So I feel it in my glutes, feel it in my quads. One more each side. We have a furry friend with us now. One more each side. Anybody else come off the mat? I'm halfway across the living room now.
Yeah.
Last one. And release. Okay, fantastic. Right. I'm going to use those balls now. So if you can roll all the way down to the mat, start on your sitting bones, and then C curl off nice and slowly, all the way down into a full body stretch. Balls or not, doesn't matter. Arms above your head, extend those legs away. Now keep this chest down, keep your rib cage down, not opening out through the rib cage. Reach away with your arms and legs and get a really good stretch.
Well, I know.
with a friend. Okay, then slowly bring your feet towards your bottom. Grab your ball if you have one. If not, don't worry, we can do this without. Raise your hips up and put your ball underneath your bottom. Now, it goes at the top of your bottom, not in the small of your back. Hands to the side. All right, raise one knee up to tabletop, so that's 90 degrees. And if you feel confident, raise two. So you can still maneuver yourself when you're in this position, just find out what's comfortable for you. You've got that neutral spine, and from the hip, we're going to toe tap. So alternate toes towards the floor, nice and long through the neck. Hands are on the floor at the moment, just really warm up here. So if you're a beginner, you can stay here. If you're struggling with this, you can keep one foot on the floor and just toe tap one side for 5 and then change. Otherwise, continue. Now, the further you tap away from your bottom, the harder it is. And if you're feeling confident, float those arms above your chest with the palms facing inwards, still nice and long through the neck. So as well as hip stability, we've got shoulder stability going on as well. Reach away as far as you can with that toe. If you find you're wobbling, make the movement smaller. And when you're ready, you can do opposite arm to leg, extending them away. If you're wobbling, bring it in, reset, start again. Nice and slow, concentrate on your movements, hips level, still breathing. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, release. Just hug those knees into your chest. Keep your head and shoulders on the mat. Just release through that lower back. Okay, right, knees back to 90 degrees, hands onto the floor. And this time we're going to do a scoop with the foot. So it's as if you're dipping your toe in the water. So dip the toe in the water with a bent leg, straighten it out. So you flick in the water and back to 90 degrees and then change sides. So dip it in the water, flick and back. So it's a bit of a swishing movement. Nice and long through that neck. Try not to grip on with the fingers or the shoulders. Try and relax. So a nice bit of flexibility through the hip, through the knee. Core switched on. Check that neutral spine. If you're arching out through the back or really curling through the back, put your feet down, reset yourself up and start again because you're not using your core muscles. You'll be pulling on your back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to tabletop. Now, if you can, extend those legs to the ceiling, straight up. Okay, now flex and point your feet. Oh, I feel a lovely stretch there. You've got your hands on the mat. And relax. Now, if you're able, we're going to straddle, open your legs wide, and then bring them back together. If you need to, if that's too much, bend your knees and you can just do it here. If straight legs is too much, you can bend your knees and do the same thing. But you'll feel...
Taking them to one side?
Yes, both out to the side. Sorry, I did, yeah.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
Just into a straddle. Sorry, I didn't want to turn around and show you that view. But I did think about it and thought, no, deserve that. Okay, so taking it wide, nice and slowly in control. So you're getting some good mobility through the hips, but also that you're taking your body off centre in a slightly different way to how we've been working. And extend those legs as much as you can, really reach away with the feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, release. Bring those knees into your chest, just hug them off a little bit. And then 2 feet towards onto the floor. So we'll do one at a time. So you've got your feet on the mat, your hips still on the ball. Now extend one leg away along the mat, so you're opening out through this hip. Just having a little stretch here. Be careful that you've not got it in the small of your back. The ball should be below your hips and you're using it to have a really good stretch. Now bring that foot back towards the ball and change sides. Get your hands on the floor or at least your elbows on the floor for some stability. Just feel a really nice stretch. Now keep that one extended. Extend the first one out. So you've got 2 legs extended. Take them wider than hip width. And just feel a lovely stretch to the front of your hips. If you're keen cyclists or you're sitting a lot, this is a really good stretch. Hands to the side, very slowly, rock from side to side. Now, if you've got lower back issues, please check that you're in neutral spine. If you arch out through your back, this will hurt. Or don't do it. If it's too bad, just stop. But it should, if you're fit in this area, it should feel like a really lovely stretch. Okay, right. Keep one leg extended, bring the other leg up towards your chest. If you're able to hold it, you can do that. So pull the bent knee towards your chest. Keep the other leg extended. If this is too much for you, come off the ball and you can just do it on the floor. And then change legs. Brilliant stretch, this one. And release, 2 feet towards the floor. Raise those hips up, take that ball away. Just bring yourselves up and put the ball behind your shoulders. We're going to do the same thing in your shoulders. So what we're going to do is lie across the top of the ball. Now put your hands behind your head and just slowly lower your head to the floor. So your head should be touching the floor. And what we're going to do is take your arms above your head. Now, if any of this hurts or you've got any issues, don't do this, just get a nice stretch on the floor. I've got neutral spine, I've got my arms above my head, and then I'm just going to draw circles with my arms. If that's too much to go that far, literally just lie across the top of the ball, cradle your head in your hands, and get that ball between the shoulder blades, open out through the chest, and you should get a good stretch there. But please don't force anything. If it's too much for you, lie on the floor and just do a full body stretch. Now, really slowly, raise your head up. Hands to the floor, push yourself up and come off the ball. And if you can just flip over to the other side, onto your hands and knees. Finish off. This one last week actually, it's a good one. So you're going to hip hinge, so you're going back. Take your weight into your hands and drop those hips and raise your head. Now, if you've got lower back issues, literally just come hip hinge and then take your weight onto your hands. Or anybody that hasn't got a problem in that area, come forward, get a lovely stretch again through those hips. Raise that head up. Curl your spine back into that hip hinge. And then into this little mini cobra. Okay, last 2. Nice and gently, don't force anything, just go as far as you're able. The last one, and then down to sitting. Well done, okay. So if you can sit cross legs, sit on your awkward cross leg side.
and as far in as you can. I mean, if you do full yoga and things like that, you do so. Onto those sitting bones. If you're ever in this position, you can't get onto your sitting bones and you curl, just put a cushion underneath your bottom or a block. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a hand to the side and we're going to have a little stretch up and over. Okay, then 2 hands towards the floor. Drop that head down. Slowly walk the hands round to the other side, taking your weight forward so you really feel it into those glutes. So you've got 2 hands to the side of one knee, hold it there, then open out, one hand up, up and out, and let's go again. So we're going to go up and over, feel that stretch to the side, 2 hands towards, so you're taking shoulders forwards, take that weight forwards, walk to the other side, open out, and up to sitting. Okay, from here, just reach up with your arms, and as if you're climbing a rope, just to release through that back, just really reach up one side and then the other, and then the arms come back and down. And we're done. How is everybody?
Thank you. Thank you.
We put a pause in this.